All right, meeting notes are pretty useless if you can't find what you need when you need it. It's time to make them actually searchable. My name is Marvin Aziz. I run community at Lindy, and today we're going to build a Slack agent that connects to your meeting note taker so you can ask questions about past meetings. Simply go ahead and ask what was discussed during the last Agent Academy office hour meeting, and it's gonna provide an answer within seconds. So let's actually go ahead and build it. We're going to start from scratch. So the first thing we're going to need is a message receive trigger in order to receive messages from Slack. I'm going to click on Slack and then message received. Now on the right, you can see I've got a couple of configurations I can change here. For example, I only want this to be inside of a certain channel, which is called Lindy Agents. There we go. And I want to filter messages, right? So the only message I want this agent to be triggered by is if I mention at meetings. Right? Cool. So anytime I put in at meetings inside of this Slack channel, this agent will be triggered. All right, so what do we need next? Now we are going to need one of those meta actions that are pretty useful at Lindy. The one I'm looking for is called get task list. And this allows you to get the task list of one of your other agents, right? For this instance, I'm gonna select my meeting note taker. Yes, I've got a couple of ones, and I am going to limit the max number of tasks to get to 50. And I'm gonna save just that for now. Once we have the full task list, we need a way to go through each one and get the task details for each of those items. So you already know it. We're going to use a loop here, and we're going to loop through all of the tasks. I'm going to use prompt AI here in order to prompt it to only use the most relevant tasks, right? Because we don't want to waste credits on tasks that might not be even relevant. So I'm going to say only loop through tasks that are likely to be relevant in order to answer the user's question. And then I'm going to take the task list and reference the actual tasks. I'm also going to limit the cycles to a max of 20. I'm going to set this to 20 as well, max concurrent, so they can all work in parallel. And then for the output, well, I want to have the answer to my question, right? So all of the necessary information in order to answer the user's question include metadata about the meeting as well as the task URL. So why am I doing this? Because this allows me to actually reference the task URL inside of the Slack message I receive, that I can simply click into that one and review the video recording if I wanted to, right? Pretty cool. All right, so next what we want to do is we want to get the actual task detail inside of the loop, right? So search for get task details. And I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to select my meeting note taker again. I'm going to leave the subtask to auto, and I'm going to limit the max number of blocks to get to 10. And just for context, the number of blocks will define how many steps that your meeting note taker took will be inside of this result block, right? So if you have your meeting note taker and it has like tons of steps before even recording the meeting, well, you obviously want to increase that number to get the full details of the meeting note taker run. But in that instance, my meeting note taker pretty much starts with recording the meeting. So I can reduce the number of credits I'm going to consume here by limiting the number of blocks to get by 10. All right, so let's save that one more time. And then I'm going to add one last step, which is the agent step. And I'm going to add the suggested skill here, send a Slack message. I'm also going to add one more, observe messages. So that way I can have my agent send me all of the details about the meeting and the answer to my question, most importantly. And I'm able to have a conversation with him continuously, right? Because he's able to actually observe the messages as well. And I've got a simple prompt here: be helpful, based on the meeting task details found, answer the user's question from the Slack message, be concise and helpful, include metadata about meetings and TaskRail to the video recording. Something like that, right? I'm going to choose Cloud Sonnet for all of these steps, depending on when you see this video. Obviously, the recommendation might change, but this is what I'm going to use for now. And I'm also going to rename this agent to Slack meeting agent. There we go, right? Now, one last thing I like to do, just from a UX perspective, is as soon as I send the message, I actually want to know if my agent received the message. So I can do two things here, pretty simple. I can immediately send a reply to my message, just an update that, hey, this agent is being fired off. But I can also add an emoji reaction to my agent. And I'm going to use that for now. You might have to authenticate with that action because it's different from the native integration we have right here. And then I'm going to select the action output, go into the message received trigger, and then add the Slack channel ID here. And I'm going to prompt it to use the eyes emoji and leave the message stamp to auto. Now this way, whenever I send the message to my agent, it will hopefully react with an emoji and then get the task list and then loop through the most relevant tasks only, get each of those task details, and then come back to me with information about the question I just asked, including a URL to the task of the video recording and any information relevant to my meeting. So let's try it out. So as you can see, I just sent a message to my assistant, asked him about the last Agent Academy office hour meeting, and it immediately reacted to my message, which is cool. And then it came back with all of the information for my meeting. And just like that, you have a Slack agent that is capable of looking through your meetings and answering questions based on the transcript.